I want to begin this segment by reading to you an email that I just received, interestingly enough, from someone very close to my life. I know they'll be watching, so I'll say just handsome as ever, honorable as ever, and a fantastic human being. Wrote this. Heartless guy who dismembered the memories of people who died, and now he is crying about his money. Might be a good Luke Beasley Show segment, not sure. And this is a segment, as you can tell, that we're doing today. And before I break down the news about Alex Jones, the prominent far-right MAGA conspiracy theorist, I do want to play something for you. We've already watched the crying, or alleged crying, from Alex Jones. That will be played for you a little bit later once again. But before that, I want to play you something different that we didn't watch in the last segment. Then I'll update you on what we've learned since.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's also inspiring.
My voice will completely go into this, but it's fine. It's my resistance to them. It's a God's transmission. It's a human under attack.
I've been expecting you. Yesterday, I asked you all to subscribe, and I just want to thank you. 10,000 people in one day, in 24 hours, subscribe to the channel. I worked for months back when I started the channel to get to 10,000 subscribers. One day. You are amazing. If you haven't yet, please click that subscribe button.
All right, let's go to...
All right. Okay. Wow. Okay. Just seeing if I can do it. That's impressive. He has that. No wonder his voice sounds like this when he talks normally. It's from those war cries, as he calls them, as producer Jane's struggling to keep his laughter in. That's a throat harmer. For sure. So with that being said, let me play for you Caitlin Collins and then another CNN correspondent breaking down this huge news. In the wake of Alex Jones's meltdown that we did cover, we got this news.
We have some breaking news for you tonight as the InfoWars host and known conspiracy theorist Alex Jones has just moved to liquidate his personal assets to pay the families of the victims of the Sandy Hook massacre. Alex Jones owes those families more than $1.5 billion in damages over his repeated lies and claims that the shooting was a hoax. Joining us now is senior media reporter Oliver Darcy. And Oliver, tell us what's happening here and what this means for Alex Jones.
Well, for one, the families are going to hopefully see some money. They haven't seen a dime since these judgments came down, meaning that Alex Jones owes them $1.5 billion for telling this really heinous lie about the Sandy Hook shooting back in 2012. It also means that he's no longer eventually going to own InfoWars, which is this conspiracy empire that he's used for years and years to peddle all sorts of lies and conspiracy theories. He's eventually going to lose control of that. It is a little bit confusing because his company's in bankruptcy court and he's personally in bankruptcy court, but because he owns the company, it's part of his personal assets, this does mean he will lose control of the company.
Well, and can we just play the...
And I'll play what they're leading into there, which is the clip of Alex Jones that we didn't look at, that we saw before. But in the past segment, I told you I was a little bit confused what it was that he was talking about. He was pushing this idea that the feds are coming for him and they're going to take his stuff. And now we're learning he's moving to liquidate his assets. And this could cause him to have to give up ownership of InfoWars. And I'm sure he'll find a place somewhere else, create info battles or something to get the same nonsense out there. But this is a huge deal. As a reminder, as was mentioned there from Caitlin Collins, he had these massive legal losses and is now owing the families of the Sandy Hook victims $1.5 billion around there. And this was another one of these situations where MAGA says, oh, it's a witch hunt. But in reality, it's parents of children who were killed at this mass shooting. Alex Jones, one of the things he profits off of is pushing these provocative conspiracy theories like the false flag operation at Sandy Hook. And so he lied about them. He brought harassment onto them. They had to, in some cases, move their residence to avoid this harassment. And he, with this huge platform, attempted to destroy their reputations. And they didn't have the same platform to refute what he was saying, telling them that the murder of their children was fake and they were actors. Just sick stuff. And so we have defamation laws for this. I've said before, if you don't think that Alex Jones should have been liable for defaming these families, then I don't know how you can make an argument that any defamation law should exist. If we have these sorts of laws, this should be exactly the type of scenario where people are held accountable using them. And that's what happened. And the other thing I would say is some people will say, okay, sure, he should be held accountable. This is why we have defamation law. But $1.5 billion, that's too much. He made in 3 years, just his store selling all these pills for the brain to be stronger and for, as I said last time, other things to be stronger, and preparedness kits, into the world kits to store your stuff. He made $160+ million in 3 years just from his store. So to punish someone making that amount, telling these sorts of lies in a way that will actually be accountability, it needs to be a big figure. And that's exactly what this sort of massive judgment or judgments represents. Here's more.
We were all watching this moment of him on InfoWars the other day where he was seeming to cry about this situation that he was in.
Seeming being an operative word.
I believe in my parents. I believe in humanity. And I just want to fucking stop these people. They gotta be stopped. We gotta stop them. So, at the end of the day, we're gonna beat these people.
Him talking about.
I read to you again. Heartless guy who dismembered the memories of people who died, and now he's crying about his money.
The future of this company.
I think he sees the writing on the wall there, Caitlin, and he was talking all weekend about how this was likely possible, that he was going to get shut down, and now he is agreeing tonight in court to liquidate his personal assets, which again will mean that he's not going to own this conspiracy empire he's owned since the 1990s. And
yeah, and I think one of the things we'll hear, I know, from right-wingers, is that this is the deep state or the Biden regime going after Alex Jones because he's speaking the truth about things. And they've all now admitted the false flag operation lie about Sandy Hook was not accurate. But they think the lies he's currently telling are accurate, and that's why he's being targeted. Instead of understanding this has nothing to do with, because he's saying such edgy stuff that's just so truthful, he's being targeted and shut down by the feds. This is our legal process playing out, and it being found that he was profiting off of the destruction of people's lives in ways that violates the laws we have on the books about that. You have freedom of speech, but again, given defamation being something that's a part of our law, you can go too far. And that's what we're seeing here. Accountability for his actions. He needs to take personal responsibility for his actions. And making, over the course of the last few years, I guess it has to get up in the raw numbers into the billions. If 165 million just in 3 years just from a store, then sometimes accountability is going to look like this. And liquidating his assets to pay for it. And I do think, to the point that was made by the person I read you off the top there, I think there's something extra depraved about feeling like the victim yourself. About telling your viewers, like Trump does, that this is not you getting yourself into trouble and having to deal with it, but instead some big coordinated effort take you down because you're just so brave, you're just so honest. And I wish MAGA would realize that some of the people they look up to the most are the most pitiful, and how much of a victimhood complex they have. And I'll leave you with this. Let me know what you thought of all that in the comments. You can become a member by clicking the join button below.